Right, boy, you said last week that Paul Buckle was your first choice for the job. You got your man. What are your first impressions of him since he started the job?
I've been hugely impressed at his professionalism, his passion, his media skills, his engagement with everybody, from the players, the media, the staff, the fans. And I know it's early days, but and it has certainly been a whirlwind without question. I wouldn't have thought there's another example of a manager being leaving and a new manager being appointed within such a rapid timescale. And that's funny how fans have got mixed reactions to that. Some say it's a panic and knee jerk, and others say it's decisive and proactive. And I would obviously be in this decisive and proactive camp, because that's actually what it was. And it was having made the decision that we weren't going to retain Mark. We didn't want to be a rudderless ship, and we knew that Paul was available, and he'd always been in the back of our minds as a future manager for Cheltenham Town. So when we knew he was available, and we spoke, and literally this time last week, I think we were exchanging emails between Cheltenham and New York, or whereabouts he is, and it happened very quickly. And the excitement of it all is that, you know, he just got on a plane, flew straight over, did the press conference. He then had one-to-ones with all of the players, which I thought was a really important thing to do, to understand what the players were about, how they felt about things, where they felt their best positions were, what they thought was right, what they thought was wrong. That gave him an immediate insight, A, into the personalities, and B, into what was good, what was bad. And I saw some of the notes that were taken, and it's really, really interesting, actually, the perceptions of players. Lots and lots of positives, and obviously some negatives, clearly, but lots of positive too to work on. So that was Wednesday, and then Thursday he was obviously straight in at the training ground and having a session in the morning and a session in the afternoon, and in the evening we went out for dinner. Paul and John Milton, his good friend, and who helps him out on player recruitment, and Colin. We had a really, really nice dinner and talked about an awful lot, because we hadn't really had a chance to sit down and talk about our expectations, his expectations. So that was really helpful. And then obviously Friday, preparing for the game. But actually then Saturday he had all the players in at 12 o'clock, and I went down and just said a few words and wished them luck and that sort of stuff. But well impressed. They're all in there, all smart in their tracksuits and stuff. And Paul and the management team have prepared a presentation for the players about today's game, about the shape and about, you know, what they expected. So it was all fresh, and I thought that was great. I thought that was really great, and I thought we saw a very, very committed, hard-working performance. You know, let's not make it's clear that Oxford had better chances, but actually goalkeepers are part of your team, aren't they? And I thought Carson had a tremendous game, but I think they all did. I think they all worked really, really hard. They stuck to their remit, if you like, worked hard, battled hard, were committed and focused, and I thought that was a really good start. And I thought the crowd were good. I thought the crowd got behind the new manager and got behind the team, and appreciated, if nothing else, that the team worked hard. And I think fans do respect and expect, rightly so, that the players were committed and worked hard, and I think we saw that. So it's good to get that week out of the way, because the whole focus was always going to be on the Oxford game, and hopefully now we'll have a little bit of time to take a breather. And Paul's coming to the board meeting later on this morning, so obviously we're paid to properly meet with the directors and go through his thoughts and our thoughts as to where we go from here on in. But he's got an incredibly busy time scale, so he comes to the board meeting. He's then off to see a match this evening. He's staying overnight. He's watching another match tomorrow morning, and then he's off to Dover to watch Dover against Torquay. So, and then back to Cheltenham for training on Wednesday. So, you know, fair play. He's certainly hit the ground running, which of course he needed to do. We haven't got time just to be chilling out, looking over our shoulders. You know, he's got to be working very hard, and he's already thinking about player recruitment now for January. Which is important. And I think one of his strengths, talking to other chairmen as I did, was the fact that he's got a good eye for a player, and he brings good players to the club, hopefully players that perhaps the club can move on and make money for. And just one thing I would touch on, some comments on the forum about we only offered him a 12-month contract. It's actually a 12-month rolling contract, and that's quite different. So that means he's always got 12 months. And actually, we offered him a longer contract, so we offered an 18-month contract, but 12 months is fine. 12-month rolling contract is comfortable, and that's fairly common now in the Football League. So that does not reflect the fact we haven't got confidence in this manager to take us forward. This is a long-term fix. And I hope Paul will be with us for a long time. And I think the other thing, I think his appointment has been very well received in football circles. In fact, I was watching the Football League show, and very complimentary about our choice of a new manager, and very complimentary about Paul's track record. So all in all, I think it's been a great week. I think it's a great appointment, and I look forward to working with Paul going forward.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting month, isn't it? Because he can't bring anyone in or out now between now and January. So it's almost like a month, 4 or 5 game trial for most of the players to try and make sure they're part of his plans going forward. Yeah,
and I think that's probably what he wanted to do. I think, in an ideal world, perhaps if we'd had a bit more time, he may have wanted to bring a couple of players in to bolster the squad. And we would have been able to support. We would have supported him on that, of course. But it was just too much going on to be able to enable those things to happen, really. So I think it does actually, and I said to the players, it gives you all an opportunity now to stake your place in the team. And we're starting with a clean sheet, really. The season starts now for many of them, for all of them possibly. And so it gives Paul a real good chance to look at what he's got. Understand their strengths and weaknesses, what their best positions are, their mentality, and then come January he will have a very, very good understanding of the quality of what he's got, and importantly what he needs.
You said a few times Dover's the biggest game of the season. Explain just why it's such a big game on Sunday.
Massive game. Well, it could be the difference between making £250,000 in the third round and making nothing in the third round. We all know how good the FA Cup has been for this club over the years. So the opportunity to be in the third round and to draw a Premiership club is just such a one-off opportunity that you get. We have to get through 2 matches to get to that stage, and then you have to be lucky with the draw. So we've got through one. We need to, and arguably that was no one expected that. So now we've got Dover, which they're on a hell of a run. So they'll be coming full of confidence, having won at Gateshead. But they've had a lot of games. They're playing tomorrow night against Torquay. That won't be an easy game. Our players will be rested, and I'm sure that Paul will have them up for the game. And I think there's no question that they were up for the game against Oxford. They were there working hard and want to impress. And they're not suddenly going to disappear for Dover. They're going to be up for that game because players also will relish the opportunity of being in the third round. I mean, I love watching the draw when Cheltenham Town are in it. If I'm a player watching that draw and I've got a chance of playing against some of these Premiership teams, wow, that is massive. Massive for Dover too, of course. So it's really important. I think ticket sales have been going quite well. We've reduced the prices again to try and encourage a bigger attendance. We're expecting Dover to bring 700 or 800. So they'll make a lot of noise. So it's really important that season ticket holders and everybody come along and get behind the team, because no doubt if we do draw Liverpool in the third round, they'll all want to come to it. So it's important you come along, you keep your ticket stubs for that game. Hopefully that will give you some priority for a future third round tie.
Yeah, and you decided to knock the prices down to conference prices. What was the thinking behind that?
Well, simply because we were, in the same way that we increased prices for Swindon because they were a local team from a higher division, we felt it was equally the same logic applies to Dover, who are obviously a long way away and a smaller team. And I think if you need to be consistent with your decision making, and I think that reflects that really. You could also argue it's a bonus match. It's not a match that we budgeted for, so any revenue from this match is a bonus. But believe you me, any bonus revenue is very much needed. A, to reduce potential losses, but B, to give us a chance of doing something in the January transfer window. And really, this match, above all, is key to that. We get into the third round, we make 100,000 or more. There's no question that some of that, as we have done in previous years, some of that can be used to support the playing budget in January.
Yeah, and Paul Buckle's last managerial appointment in England, he had a great FA Cup run, knocking out Premier League opposition with the Conference Club Union. So hopefully he can have a bit more of that this season.
He did, absolutely. They beat Wolves at home, didn't they? And that's TV cameras, I think. And then Norwich away. Of course, we beat Norwich away as well many years ago. I remember that much very fondly.
Yeah, and after Tamworth last year, everyone wants a repeat of the Tottenham and Everton. That just one game away from that possibly happening again.
Yeah. I mean, and all fans will have very fond memories of Cheltenham Town, and it would either be the Everton match or it would be the Tottenham match. But it will be inevitably it's going to be those big matches, as well as the epic matches like Rushden and Diamonds and Yeovil. It's the big cup matches, and so and we've had our fair share of those, haven't we? You know, including the mighty West Ham. So who knows? But if we can get a good result against Dover, we can get into the third round. Who knows? We might even draw Worcester in the third round and then go on to the fourth round. But we have been into the fifth round. Don't forget, when we played West Brom all those years ago. So we haven't got a bad record, but obviously last year was a real disappointment for the club. And I think it probably, although we went on quite a good little run after that, it wasn't a great season, and the FA Cup can often make or break a season.
Yeah, brilliant. Cheers, Paul. Thank you.